Number 4 in your hearts.
All right, Crossroads Sports, Bracketology, March Madness Selection Sunday is in the books. I'm your host, Brandon Reef, joined by always Jonathan Birdsong. JB, we've had a week of basketball, my man, between the Horizon League, Big Ten on multiple nights and days, all culminating today with Selection Sunday. Sir, how are you?
Man, I'm just as tired as Wisconsin legs were in the last couple of moments of the Michigan game, Michigan Big Ten tournament game, man. Like, nah, man, I'm here. And proud to be in the moment, man. We covered a lot of basketball the last couple as we always do, but like up close and personal, whether it's been the Horizon League, and we kind of got to see Robert Morris and Youngstown State hook them up. That was pretty good. That was definitely something you can do, rewind material. And then, like I said, navigating this Big Ten tournament, whether it was Indiana, Oregon, or getting to see the lottery picks in Rutgers. It was some good times that we've had looking at going through navigating this Big Ten tournament, and definitely seeing Brandon as we talk about some more, man. Brandon's uh, uh, critiques of Iowa. but like, nah, man. But no, man. I'm doing
Can I
good,
tell you
man.
something about that?
Go ahead.
After we left that night, Fran got kicked out and everything. After we left that night, I went back
All the way
to
out.
my hotel to get my car,
Mm-hmm.
and he was coming out of the hotel and was asking me how to get to 10 Hands Social Club.
He knew.
He was going
He was
far.
right. Yeah.
And then he gets
Gonna
fired
pull
the
him
next
up.
morning. So I can say I last saw Fran McCaffrey as the head coach. It was me and Fran on the front drive of the Hyatt Regency. That was awesome.
Get to the picture.
I should have. Oh, I should have. Damn.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, John, recap real quick. Michigan, Wisconsin. Michigan been a great team all year long.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan State was up there. Obviously won the regular season, but they shot the three ball a hell of a lot better in the Big Ten tournament there. But Wisconsin, Michigan, two perennials that we expected. Michigan getting it done in there. It was pretty cool to see. But I had a great time at the Big Ten. Thank you, Big Ten Conference, for the credentials.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get your question in and asked? I tried to look for it on YouTube.
My question.
Yeah, you were going to ask a question, and one of the coaches in the post-game presser.
Oh man, I got it in. But you know what? Hey, Brand, I'm glad you brought that up, man, because a lot of these dudes, man, their questions was like the press that was there.
Softball.
I probably, man, not necessarily softball. They just don't necessarily know how to ask the right question, man. So Coach Greg Gard was up there. They were actually, they were trying to everybody knows the kid, what's his name, Johnny, not Johnny, what's his name, Tanjay.
Tanji. Yeah, Tanji.
Yeah, Tanji. I don't remember Jackson's last name. I mess up every time. But we all know he's been around the college basketball hoop scene for quite a long time. We do this, man. He played 4 seasons, Colorado State. You know what I mean? Alone, and like again, injury season last year in Missouri. I found it like 3 dudes in the press box, man, asked the same question, same to him. Like, he's not like, why do you want him to run down Colorado State? He put him, said he's come to Wisconsin. They paid, like Coach Gard was kind of openly honest about it. He's like, man, you know what I'm saying? We had a speed, he said he called it speed dating. NIL moment with Tanji, and it kind of just worked out for him. And here they were back in the into the finals of the Big Ten. Didn't necessarily get it done. Tanji didn't necessarily have a great shooting performance today. Last night he was the best 3-point shooter that Wisconsin had. They made 9 threes. He made 6 of the 9 out of 29.
Right.
So this today, you know what I'm saying, it didn't favor, just saying the guys didn't favor him. So but like, no, man,
Okay.
just know I didn't necessarily get my question, but like there's some questions, man. Like, dude, y'all gotta come up with better questions for these players and coaches, man. Like he's not gonna run down their program. As a matter of fact, his coach not gonna let him run down another program that he was at prior to. Shoot, Colorado staff themselves made their 10th seed this year. So like, from the pudding that him being removed from the program, you know what I'm saying? just like I said, man, you're right, Brandon. You hit the nail on the head. Great games all around. I thought with the Big Ten tournament, you get to see the difference in the Big Ten style of play on display here. I think that's what I saw for the most part. From Illinois, from USC. I know I know we were super critical on some of the California teams. But like, nah, man, I walked away very impressed with what I saw.
Cool. I'd like to give a shout out here, the NCAA March Madness hat. It was 9 years ago when Jim Nance gave me this hat at the hotel I was working for. So
Blessed. She
an
said
honor,
Jim
brother.
Nance.
Blessed man, Jim Nance. So, all right, John, let's break down the brackets. Let me present. I'm going
Real
to have it
quick.
on a screen here in a second. Just give me.
Bracketologist. This is what I turned into, y'all, on Sunday nights.
So, okay. Here we go. So we're going to start, John, in the South region. We've got number 1 overall seed, Auburn. Auburn Tigers are going to take on the winner of Alabama State and St. Francis. Then you got Louisville, the 8 versus Creighton, which is a very intriguing matchup here,
Very
I will
intriguing.
say. And then Michigan, who I'm surprised they're a 5 seed. I really thought they would be a 4 after winning the Big Ten, but that just shows that the committee already had this shit set back on Friday.
Dude, you already know. I already think D-State disrespect is in play here, man. The SEC is on. I would let I remind you, they haven't. The ESPN has not necessarily let their politics be shown when it comes to college basketball, but it's clearly shown. How many? It was an unprecedented number of SEC teams in this whole bracket.
14.
I mean, dude, they ain't 14. Man, I hope, dude. You all know, Brandon. You know better than that. They know better than that. There ain't 14 teams better to stop it.
So
the Hoosiers got left out.
Well, we'll get to that.
We should have. That should have been the Zoom came on in, man. Over like Arkansas. Are you serious? Colin Parr 2 weeks ago was crying about. I don't know what the committee looking for. I don't know. And then you go through maybe a 2 or 3 game out of win streak, and like now they put them in. Like, man, come on, man. This is wait, yeah, man. Put 14 teams in there. Put them on there. Be for real.
The deep state. UC San Diego. That's not going to be an easy matchup for Michigan. UC San Diego, great offensive and defensive efficiency. Going to be top 30 in the country with that. Texas A&M, your Texas A&M Aggies, John, against Yale. Ole Miss versus San Diego State or North Carolina. North Carolina, John, this was the one where shocked that they got in over Indiana. Had one win there in the net, quad 1. But their athletic director, Bubba Cunningham, former Ball State athletic director, is actually the chairman for the NCAA tournament this year, says in the press conference or the interview that he left the room when it was time to talk about his team, that's what they do for the integrity. But you don't think he said, hey, guys, give me a little nudge here with North Carolina. Left room. A little home cooking maybe.
Man, just some mid-majors that probably would have took advantage of that spot. I still thought North Carolina would have made it in, but I thought Indiana would have made it in too, man. But no, man.
Well,
I hope they do.
72 teams, and they will.
No, I expect. I mean, that's another show we talk about on Wednesday about expansion, man. I might be a little pro expansion, believe it or not, man. But like, nah, man. I hope they do. I hope they make the best of it of this opportunity, man, and don't become somebody's March Madness moment.
Yep. Iowa State and Lipscomb, Marquette, New Mexico, Michigan State and Bryant. So looking here, John, you got top 4 seeds. You got Auburn, Michigan State, Iowa State, and Texas A&M. Iowa State's kind of been frauds lately, John. They haven't been doing so well playing. A&M's had their misses. To me, it looks like Michigan State and Auburn. I mean, it's a little chalky, but you get Michigan State and Auburn there for a chance to go to the Final Four in San Antonio. What's your thoughts? What do you like?
I still like Michigan State there. Kind of coming out bracket, man. You know, Izzo has his teams, prime for tournament play. Go, getting your team through a regular season is one thing, coast. But at least in the tournament, you do get, a little bit of breather from week to week, right? You know what I'm saying? And you get a little prep time for your next opponent, at least a week, right? So, but no, man, I'm not necessarily sold on Auburn, just 100% yet. I'll get to the Final Four. I still be. I mean, I know this is on the fly, so I necessarily fill up my bracket, but
Yeah, yeah. We're just going to go off fly
I'm
reactions
just
before
kind
we do
of.
our
I'm still confident that Michigan State gets it done there.
Okay. I just looking. I like this Auburn makeup. I think they got the second best player in the country. So I like them. Obviously, you can't take away Michigan State and Sparty what they've done this year in Izzo in March. I'm going to probably take Auburn. Just quick eyeball. I'll take Auburn out of the South here. Maybe. I got them versus Michigan State, so we'll take. I'll take Auburn in that one to the Final Four. It's probably a little chalky, but this is South, so that region will be played down in Atlanta. Looking down below that, in the very bottom half of that, John, we've got the West region. Number 1 seed, the 4th overall number 1 seed going out west, the Florida Gators. 8-9 matchup, UConn and Hurley versus Oklahoma, and your boy out there, Porter Mosier. Memphis, Penny Hardaway, the 5 seed. Maryland versus Grand Canyon, Bryce Drew, the Valpo Miracle. Maryland's having a great season this year. Not so great in their matchup they just had. Missouri taking on Drake, possible new Indiana basketball coach there. Drake, we'll have to keep an eye on that matchup. Texas Tech, UNC Wilmington, Kansas, Bill Self versus Calipari in Arkansas. And then you got Rick Pitino versus Omaha on the 2 there, John. Thoughts on this bracket, and then I'll give you mine.
I mean, that's a great. But like, dang, what's the second help? And like, I mean, I get it, man. They will hopefully want Patino to meet Arkansas, St. John's to meet Arkansas, and and they sell a couple tickets up in that region. Um, St. John's got the best team, period, coming out of that bracket. So that's kind of like my first thoughts on that. When you look at UConn having to play Oklahoma, they didn't lose. I don't think they lost. They didn't lose a non-conference game this year, Brandon. They didn't lose a non-conference game this year. So that's kind of scary. It should be.
Yeah.
Especially with Mr. Meltdown, Danny Hurley over there. Ain't gonna be no 3-peats, man. That's gonna be a tough, hard-nosed, knuckle up. You know what I'm saying? Because both those coaches know how to counteract. You know what I'm saying? So that 8-9, that's gonna be real scary, especially for who kind of comes out of that game as the winner. They could potentially be any, you know what I'm saying, higher seed. But I don't necessarily think Oklahoma's got a run in.
How much chance you give UConn to beat Florida?
Four. None.
Okay.
None.
Who do you like? You
much
like St. John's getting out of this region to the Final Four?
Yes.
I like St. John's as well. My problem is, John, with the youth on this team, can they get into spurts where it gets tournament time? It gets a little more, butt puckering time out there. To be frank, do they buckle or they prosper? Because they ran through the Big East tournament and they played great.
Yeah.
Little adversity there in the championship game at halftime down, and then they just poured it on Creighton. It's chalky. I like St. John's in Florida. I'd say it. St. John's in Florida here to go, and I would not be shocked if St. John's would go to the Final Four here. I don't really have a pick in this one yet because I need to look at it a little bit more, but Florida, St. John's, one of those 2 teams. I know it sounds chalky as shit, but I have more faith and trust in Florida than I would do St. John's for this. So if I had to go a route and you're pulling me an answer, I'll take Florida.
Absolutely.
They played well. They played very well in the SEC tournament and all season long. They beat Auburn or they beat Alabama and then beating Tennessee like they did. Yeah, I liked them. I just worry about the youth with St. John's and finally getting there. When it gets crunch time, do they prosper or do they not? So I'm a little worried with that. So going up into the East region, John, the number 1 seed up there is Duke. The Duke Blue Devils. I just got an alert that Cooper Flagg should be ready to play game 1 this week in the opener against American or Mount St. Mary's. So it looks like Cooper Flagg will be good to go. Oregon, Big Ten Oregon is the 5 seed. Mississippi State and Baylor, 8-9. Arizona and Akron. Akron winning on a buzzer beater, the MAC. So they're going to take on the Wildcats of Arizona. BYU versus VCU. I think that's going to be an incredible game. I'm taking the over in that game, no matter what. Wisconsin versus Montana. The Badgers, we just saw them in the Big Ten championship game. St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's had a great year this year. And then Alabama versus the Horizon League champion. You saw them, Robert Morris. I look at this and I see a lot of teams that play quick, that like to score. I see a lot of overs. If you're taking bets, take the overs. This is an overs. Your thoughts?
Just always big up the MAC and the mid majors, man. Akron has got a veteran group here. They've made the tournament. This, you know what I'm saying, with this particular program coach staff 2 out of 3 years. If this was a second round matchup, maybe the Arizona's going to be a tough out. The Akron's going to be a tough out for Arizona. I wouldn't be surprised if the Akron kind of beats them there. You got to pick a surprise out of your brackets, man. That would technically be my Akron over Arizona.
Okay. Who do you like getting out of this one?
Out of this whole bracket, hold on. Give me who's back. Come on, man. You already know, man. The Dukies, man. Be for real. Cooper Frag could probably Cooper Frag gonna probably play a good 10 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And they're gonna sit him down. Did Adam Silver clear it? Did Adam Silver clear it? Like, you talking about did Coach Clay clear it? Like, did Adam had it clear? Like, he's like, man, sit the future of the NBA down. Like, we're not doing that. We're not playing so that you can win the ACC tournament or beat American or Mount St. Jerry's. Who cares? That's not gonna happen. So he probably plays a good 10 minutes. You've seen what Con Knipple could do. I know that ain't his name, but that's what we're going with. He ain't the second coming to Adams of Kyle Singler, y'all. He can play. So they got other players besides Cooper Flag, and I got them, you know what I'm saying, moving strong.
Okay. I got Duke as well, moving on in this region. I'll be curious to see how far Alabama gets, if it gets upset watch for them against St. Mary's possibly, or a Wisconsin / BYU, VCU winner. Seeing what you kind of with Alabama. Last year they got to the Final Four and got beat against UConn, but we'll see what kind of what team Nate Oates has coming in there. But I like Duke to clear this region, go to the Final Four. Down to the Midwest. The Midwest we played here in Indianapolis, John. Houston Cougars, Kelvin Sampson, the number 1 seed, taking on the SIUE Edwardsville, 8-9 Gonzaga in Georgia. I think I saw a stat. Gonzaga has 16 straight years of making it to the Sweet 16. If this would be the case, they would have to upset number 1 Houston. So note there. Clemson, the 5 seed against McNeese. Purdue, the number 4 seed against High Point. Illinois versus the winner of Texas and Xavier. Another shocker that a couple of them got in. And then Kentucky, the Commonwealth, could be coming to Indianapolis, taking on Troy. UCLA versus Utah State, and Tennessee versus Wofford. Your thoughts on this bracket, John, and kind of who you like?
Just the brand name of Kentucky still mean something. They're just not necessarily great on the road. They do. If you tell me they're playing closer here, anywhere in Indianapolis, man, you know what I'm saying, the Blue Nation does travel, and they do travel heavy. You know what I'm saying? Any team that's kind of facing Kentucky, that's what you're gonna be up against. The crowd's not gonna necessarily be in your favor. When you tell me Kelvin Sampson is coming, even crazier. But like, man, he's got a solid program. He's got a solid, you know what I'm saying? I know he didn't necessarily make the Final Four last year. I had predicted them. I think I did predict them to go to the Final Four, but he's got solid guard play, got solid wing play. Again, this year, Kevin Sampson is coaching crazily about defense. I think he's got a team to get to the Sweet 16. I do. Coming out I just don't know who's it's Brad and Purdue. A lot of folks gonna kind of nitpick at Purdue and say High Point might dethrone them. I don't think that's even in the realm of possibility.
I wouldn't say it's not against possibility. I've got some stats on High Point.
Well, Clemson.
Shout out, by the way. Shout out Ball State women's basketball on ESPN right now, showing them they are the 12 seed in the regional spoken. So they're taking on Ole Miss Friday. Ball State, Ole Miss women's basketball NCAA tournament. So shout out Ball State Cardinals.
I had to write that down in my notes, man. That's gonna be an upset special for Ole Miss, man. But like, no, man, I for High Point. So long as, you know what I'm saying, Colvin and Curse first. I said Curse because he makes you curse. As long as Colvin and First can get some offense going and some rebounding going out of both of them, man, they'll definitely move out of the first round of that. I'm not a super fan and solid believing it of Clemson. I think that's. I don't. I'm not a betting man, I'm not. But I don't know what's over on with them in McNeese State. But I think McNeese State. I might actually keep it close. But like, no, man. I got no. It's not that relevant about on the matchup that Purdue can get to the Sweet 16.
A couple things with High Point, John. They've got 3 guys averaging double figures. They shoot 36% from the 3.
Okay.
Their leading scorer comes from France, Paris, France. They have a 10-man rotation. They play 10 guys. The coach is not afraid to take the starters out, bench them because the guys can play. They are very deep on this team. That could cause some problems for the Boilermakers possibly. It's very junior and senior laden. They only have 1 sophomore on the team, and he's a 7'2" guy. So that's kind of where they're sitting at. Purdue right now is 10.5-point favorites in the spread. So 10.5 is the line right now. Painter did talk as soon as the brackets came out. I was listening to the press conference. It sounds like Fletcher Lawyer will likely play. He has a sprained elbow. They were really concerned because it swelled up instantly in the Big Ten game against Michigan. And Coach Painter actually thought it was the bone. So he was really concerned it was going to be a serious injury for Fletcher Lawyer. So how much he'll play in this first game, and if he's able to shoot and how sore that arm is, that could prove a possible problem spot for the Boilermakers here against High Point. But I like Purdue to beat High Point, take on Clemson. Will Wade and McNeese. McNeese second straight year in the tournament. Don't be shocked if McNeese somehow ends up pulling up an upset over Clemson. If Purdue can get back to Indianapolis, that'd be great for them. That'd be huge to take on possibly a Houston squad with Kelvin Sampson. Down below, I like Kentucky and Tennessee, both of them teams to travel here in Indianapolis. Fred, this shit was picked 24 hours ago. It wasn't, Fred. It was actually picked on Friday. They had 31 of the teams already set by Friday night. So that's just a well-known thing that they've came out with. And there was an article on it yesterday that they had a lot of the bracket was already set for Friday. All they had to do was just a couple changes on there. Yeah, I thought Michigan should have been a higher seed than Purdue. Personally, I thought Michigan should have been the 4 and Purdue should have been the 5. But Kentucky, Tennessee, I like out of there. John, I think between Tennessee and Kentucky, going to the Elite Eight, I'm going to go with the experience of Tennessee. They were there last year as well. They obviously lost to Purdue. I know you do not trust Rick Barnes, but I know you sure hell can't trust Mark Pope either. So you have to pick the lesser of the evils unless you go with UCLA, which I know you don't.
This is first year on the job for Mark Pope, so I get it. Why everybody kind of thinks it's more so like a bad temperature fire for him. I think he got a good defensive front line. If I do remember them early on in the season, they were a little bit better defensively were then than they are now. And hopefully something they kind of fix in between now and that first talk, before they jump them up there. But because this Kentucky team can be special, not special like Anthony Davis when they had that kind of special, but like the kid that transferred over from Dayton. He's I don't know why the NBA ain't got it, but he can shoot the lights out. And like I said, they got the rebounders, man. So it's kind of up to the kids at this point.
And who do you like out of this region?
Don't lose your mind, man. Don't lose your mind. If Houston overall, don't lose your mind, y'all. Kelvin Sampson.
I like Houston as well to get out of this one. My upset special would probably be Tennessee, but I'll take Houston, the High Flyers there. So, John, as we go to the Final Four itself, I think you had Michigan State, St. John's, Duke, and Houston as your 4.
Just off the top. Just off the top.
Yeah. Who would you have in the national championship there? You'd have St. John's versus Michigan State.
Okay. Give me the Johnnies.
And then you'd have Duke and Houston.
Man, the coordination, man. Give them the crown. Duke.
And then Duke versus St. John's, Patino, and Shire.
They gonna make them earn it. They gonna make Cooper Flag earn it, man. But I would say the Duke's win, man. Blue Devils.
Okay. For me, I've got Auburn coming out of the South. If I had to pick one, even though I kind of like Michigan State,
It's not a bad
I'm
pick.
going to go Florida. I go Florida just because the youth with St. John's. I'm not sure how it's going to go there in that Elite Eight game, so I'll take Florida. If you're following along so far, it's 2 1 seeds, which always ends up playing out well. Duke Blue Devils out of the East. That's the third number 1 seed. And then Houston. I know it's chalky as shit, but Houston. So I got all 4 number 1s just off the top before I even put a bracket together. And I really like. I'll take Duke out of the right side of the region, and give me Duke versus Florida. I think Florida upsets
Ooh,
Auburn. So
spicy, spicy.
there's a little quick upset for you. And then give me Duke, Cooper Flag, putting the crown on before he comes the number 1 pick in the draft. Give me because Duke's got a hell of a squad. Even winning it without him. I got to give Tanner shit as well for the lane violation. So got to give him that. But I got Duke winning the natty title as much as you do there. That's just first glimpse. We got our brackets we're going to be filling out. We've got our bracket challenge on ESPN. The link's on the Facebook page. John will fill one out. I'll have one out. Join that one. It'll be on the Facebook page for you to fill out. Shout out again to Ball State women's basketball, the 12 seed. They're going to be taking on Ole Miss on Friday in the NCAA tournament. We'll be cheering for them as well. Show on Wednesday night. We'll talk some more brackets on Wednesday. I'll have my best bets as well.
Hopefully, talking even more brackets.
Conference tournament, I cleaned up. Let's just put it out there. I cleaned up this year.
Did you? There you go, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cleaned up. So anything else, John, before we go this evening? I start kind of researching and diving into my brackets, getting ready to start filling her out.
No, man. Man, my little basketball nerd self. Hopefully, we get invited to the NIT. Not to call them out. Not to they got to have us on the show, have us on their platform. But you know, what I'm saying basketball tournaments ain't going to work. It's a secondary tournament in some folks' eyes. I'm sure the Hoosiers won't accept no invitation. But you know, Notre Dame might. Butler, I don't know, they might not. But you know what I'm saying? I'm hoping, you know what I'm saying, we get invited to the NIT so we can see some more elite level basketball, man, that the NCAA got for us, man. But like, no, man, I know we're gonna have a great show on Wednesday. We're gonna talk more NBA. I know definitely gonna talk more Aaron Rodgers and his little whiny self and wrapped around a blanket on the beach.
Steelers watch, quarterback watch, still going on. This is like they said.
Well, he wants $33 million out of Minnesota Vikings, and they thinking about giving it to him, man. Like, I don't know what – he got a super hard on? I know I said it. You got super hard that he actually got to walk in Brett Favre shoes, too. This in real time. Like, he's doing this. So, like, I don't know, y'all. Aaron Rodgers, we'll talk more about that and some more free agency stuff. You know what I'm saying? I also, you know what I'm saying, shout out to the homies from Epic Podcast. We'll be tapping in with them on Tuesday. I know sometime.
Tuesday night. Do we know a time yet?
Joining them. Man, we just gonna go in there guerrilla style. You know what I'm saying? Johnny Knoxville style. Knock on the door. You know what I'm saying? Old school MTV. Tom Green.
I'm talking about me and you. We have to make sure we go in at the right time, same time. So
break the walls down like Chris Jericho, man. That's how we go. But no, great sports week, man. Everybody keep your eyes and ears and your phones and iPads and everything else tuned into Crossroads Sports.
We'll see you guys on Wednesday. Enjoy filling out those brackets. Pick the perfect one.